Alright guys, welcome to yet another stream.
Gauntlet Legends.
As you can see, it is going to be Gauntlet Legends for the Sega Dreamcast. And yes, Boss and Burf, this has way more frames than the last game we streamed. So for those of you guys that missed it, on Tuesday morning we streamed Doom on 3DO, which has an abysmal frame rate. We managed to go through the entire game, but yeah, much of the game was at like sub 5 frames a second. It was pretty bad. But yeah, this is Gauntlet Legends on the Sega Dreamcast. It's a pretty sweet port of the game. I'll just let this play out. Oh, it already played out. Never mind. Let me get my headphones on. Hey Miku, I'm good, thank you.
Midway game.
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to be playing some Gauntlet Legends on the Dreamcast tonight, and this is a great port of the game. So Gauntlet Legends was originally an arcade game, and when it got ported to the home systems of the time, mainly Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and Sony PlayStation, the ports varied. Like, the Dreamcast one is actually the most faithful to the actual arcade version. Now, it does have some changes. It has some additions. It even features a couple of levels from the Dark Legacy expansion, which was a follow-up to Gauntlet Legends in the arcade. So there's Gauntlet Legends, and there was Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which is the follow-up. Dark Legacy was ported to Xbox, GameCube, and PS2. But yeah, the Dreamcast Gauntlet Legends is the most faithful to the original arcade game, and it's pretty awesome for that. The Nintendo 64 version is pretty cool, but it has even more Dark Legacy elements than the Dreamcast version here does, and the graphic style isn't anywhere near as good as it is in the Dreamcast or arcade game, but it actually still plays really well. The N64 one's really fun. And the PlayStation version is just like, why did they even bother porting it to PlayStation? But they did. It's a game. It can be fun, but really, if you want like that arcade experience, I highly recommend the Dreamcast version of this game. So before we kick things off, though, let's get out of here so we get at least a little bit of background music going. We're going to start a brand new character, but before we actually do that, as usual, I want to give a big shout out to my Patreon backers. So thank you guys, as always, for your continued support. We actually got a couple of new pledges this week. After Tuesday morning's stream, we got Sleeves of War, who's a regular viewer here, and then Mil Specs as well. So I added them to the list. So thank you guys for your support. If anyone's interested in supporting this show or channel through Patreon, as little as $1 a month will get you my videos a week early. And your name's featured on my streams and Let's Plays. So thank you guys for your support. It's much appreciated. It keeps me going here. And also, I'm going to flash by those super chatters. Red Dwarf actually submitted a super chat on Tuesday, so that was awesome of him to do that. So Red Dwarf, I know you're probably not out there right now because it's late for you, but thank you once again for your super chat, as well as all the folks here, all you regulars there. Thank you so much for your super chats. All right. So, Drilly Press says he's never seen this game. He's heard of it, but has never seen the gameplay. Boston Burf has only played classic Gauntlet in the arcade. Tons of fun. And Miku loved playing this in the arcade. Very nice. Hey, Encrypted Printer. Smithereens. Delta. Yeah, so again, this was an arcade game. It was kind of like a reboot of the Gauntlet series. So Gauntlet was originally an arcade game in the early 80s. Very, very popular arcade game. And it had some follow-ups over the years, you know, on consoles and Gauntlet 2, that was an arcade game, right? I don't remember like the lineage of the arcade Gauntlets. I mainly am just familiar with the very first one, but I know there were follow-ups on consoles as well. Gauntlet 2, 3, Gauntlet 4 and the Genesis, and so forth. Gauntlet 3 I think was actually on the Lynx, interestingly enough. And Gauntlet Legends was sort of like a reboot, actually. It was one of the earlier like retro reboots, when you think about it. And you know, in the mid-90s, we had a bunch of like classic early arcade revivals. Like Tempest got a remake on Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar. Missile Command was rebooted as Missile Command on PS1 and Missile Command 3D on Jaguar. Asteroids was rebooted, you know, in the late 90s. There was lots of like retro remakes. There was a retro revival thing going on back then, for those of you guys that weren't around then or weren't paying attention. Gauntlet Legends was in kind of like a similar vein. And it was rebooted as a brand new arcade game, you know, so it originated in the arcade, and the remake also originated in the arcade, and then naturally it got ported to a bunch of consoles. Hey James, how are you doing? At lunch on your phone. Team Above, yeah, no, I just started. So Team Above came over from Twitch, so thanks for checking it out, Team Above. I do this stream here every Thursday night on YouTube. There is the potential that could change. I was approached by my supervisor this week that, you know, offering me a different schedule. They said it's not guaranteed, but they're just kind of like, you know, they're testing the waters basically and getting feedback. So I don't know. As of right now, every Thursday you guys will see me here at this time. So just a heads up for people like Team Above that are interested. But yeah, so Gauntlet Legends, you know, the original Gauntlet was a top-down action game. You would have spawners and just enemies constantly spawning in. You'd have to try to take the spawners out. You'd kill enemies. You know, you'd get gold, and you'd have potions to clear the screen, and then the Grim Reaper, who's an enemy, if he's on the screen, that's not a good thing, and most of you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but this takes a lot of those elements, but it sort of like modernizes it for well, modern as in like by mid-90s standards, mid to late 90s standards, it was modern. And just like in the original Gauntlet, you have different character classes. They have different stats, like the Archer here, which is one of my favorites to play as. We're going to actually play as the Archer because she's really fast, and I like that speed. So I'm trying to figure out, should we do yellow, green, red, or blue? What do you guys say? I'll let you guys pick. Yeah, don't shoot the food. Actually, you can shoot the food in this one. You can't shoot the potions in this one. So. Yeah, no worries, James. I totally understand. I mean, there's actually usually a lot of people watching on mobile, too. So, yeah, I don't blame you guys. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we pick. Blue's always a nice color. Miku says green. Miku was the first one, so we'll do green. Oh, sorry, Iguana. Too late, man. Yeah, so you'll actually see it actually has a little bit of text, and it's going to be super, super small for you guys. But, like, the dwarf is strong. It says, the cleric or knight has protective armor. The sorceress has powerful magic. The jester is fast. So actually, some of these characters, Jester, Sorceress, Knight, and Dwarf, those were characters, I think, could they be unlocked in the original Gauntlet Legends? I know they were in Dark Legacy. But in Gauntlet Legends Arcade, your stock 4 characters included the Warrior, the Valkyrie, the Wizard, and the Archer, and that was it. And then I think there were extra characters you could unlock. But when you play the arcade version, these were your choices. And Gauntlet Legends in the arcade also was a 4-player game. So as you can see, there's 4 slots there. It was a 4-player, had a 4-player control panel. And usually the monitors were, you know, the cabinets were pretty large, and they had large monitors to compensate for 4 players on the same cabinet. So it was really awesome. So yeah, green it is.
Welcome, Green Archer.
And so in the arcade version of Gauntlet Legends, you're actually just thrown through the game from point A to point B. on a set path. But on the console versions of the game, you've got this hub set up here. And you can talk to this guy to figure out, you know, what the deal is. And there's collectibles you have to get. There are these things called obelisks, and these are actually new to the console versions of Gauntlet Legends. And then you've got rune stones, and you need all of these things in order to get to the final areas of the game, and thus the final boss. And he'll give you hints, whereas in the arcade version there weren't really any hints given for the rune stones. And again, the obelisks weren't actually in the arcade game. That was something that was added. One thing I like about Gauntlet Legends is that, you know, versus like Dark Legacy, is Dark Legacy really turned into like kind of an absurd collectathon. There were like all these little gems you had to pick up, which would unlock different gates and stuff like that. And in Gauntlet Legends, it keeps it simple like the arcade game. You go from level to level, and you collect rune stones, and the obelisks are always pretty much obvious, so they're kind of like a non-issue. And so it's a better balance than the home versions of Dark Legacy were. But let me kind of explain how the combat works. So you can use the analog stick or the D-pad to move around. I prefer the analog stick. So the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game was analog controls. So it had a normal looking joystick, but they were actually analog joysticks. So you could actually walk slow, or you could run, and then pressing the B button here uses up your turbo meter. So kind of like NBA Jam or something like that, you've got a turbo meter. In this, it charges up slowly, and you've also got different levels of special attacks. But before I explain that, you can press A to attack. You can just hold down the attack if you want. You'll do like a slow and steady attack. But if you tap the attack faster, you actually fire at a faster rate. Now, you don't really want to mash the button really fast because the attack's going to be consistent. I'm mashing it right now. So you want to tap it at like a certain rhythm to get your fastest attack in this game. Now, you've also got potions, which I don't have, but you use those by pressing X. And then you've got different turbo attacks you can do. So you've got 3 different levels in your turbo meter on the bottom. You got green, yellow, and red. Green is just like a bigger version of your regular shot. You just throw out a larger projectile. Yellow is a very powerful sort of like spread attack that only does damage right in front of you. And then you've got the red one, which is the best one. You're going to be using the most. And for the archers, the BFG, it goes all the way across the screen like that. And you're going to be using that a lot. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So accessing your levels is done through, you know, the hub system here, and each little side hub is where you go to your stages.
The Valley of Fire.
The Valley of Fire. Alright. So basically, it's all about killing enemies, finding the exit, opening up boxes, getting keys, collecting money, leveling up your character. Every enemy that you destroy in this game gives you experience points. And now the experience points are just sort of like tallied invisibly. They're just kind of tallied in the background. You don't really see how close you are to your next level. It just kind of happens. And you've got locked doors. You can use keys to open them, but that one you don't actually need to open. And there's our first runestone down there. So the game kind of like just, you know, gets you on the right track right away, kind of giving you an idea of what you need to do. That's kind of like a carrot on a stick moment right there, where it basically tells you, oh, here's a runestone, collect these. And getting that runestone involves opening up this door right here, hitting that switch, and then the runestone rises, like so. So there's a bunch of different power-ups you can get in the game. All power-ups in this version of Gauntlet Legends are used immediately. So in the arcade Gauntlet Legends, it was the same way. You pick up an item, it uses it right away. You get like a special item. Like right now, I've got a fire shot. If I can get like spread shots, I can get like lightning breath, fire breath, I can turn into a chicken. All those things happen immediately the second you pick up those power-ups. In certain versions of Gauntlet Legends at home, though, like the Nintendo 64 one, and then certain versions of Dark Legacy on home consoles, you could actually disable the items when you get them and then save them for later, which is convenient. But again, like I said, this is more faithful to the actual or original Gauntlet Legends arcade game. But it's taken some liberties as well. It's not identical, so... you know, some levels have been altered. We're going to go ahead and use the BFG right here. Oh, that actually kind of messed up. But I'm going to go ahead and use my potion. So you can use your potion by either pressing the X button and it'll do this blast around you, or you can hold down your attack button and then use the potion and you'll throw it. Throwing your potion's really good to try to take out enemies like archers and the bomb throwers. Those guys are probably the biggest threats in this game, in terms of, you know, dishing out damage to you. They'll be sitting on the other side of a wall and they'll still be able to hit you, and that's where throwing your potions are really important, and that really comes into play. Also, that's where I like to usually save my turbo meter to try to get it maxed out so I can use the BFG attack. The maxed out turbo attack will go through walls as well. And so you'll notice that enemies come out from spawners in this game. And there's another bomb thrower right here. Enemies come out from spawners, and, you know, in order to get through some of these rooms, you really need to take out the spawners from a distance, and using attacks like your BFG here is how you do that. Otherwise, you can get overwhelmed very quickly, or just not really be able to make any progress into a room because there's so many enemies coming out that it gets overwhelming for one player. And there we go. So that's our first level. Hey, Zanctum. Are you using original hardware? Take a wild guess, Gerald. You know how I roll here, man. Gauntlet 4 for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, I haven't put much time into Gauntlet 4. I would like to. I'll have to try that sometime. This is definitely the closest to being arcade perfect. It's not arcade perfect because of the liberties that were taken, and then there's like some frame rate issues later on in the game when just things get really chaotic. But it's absolutely the closest to the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game. Yeah, and this game is a lot of fun with friends. Hey, Mario. Yeah, so this game is a lot of fun with friends. It's definitely a multiplayer-focused game. And I'm going to go ahead and buy that potion just to have one on hand. Hey, Jose. Yeah, Dreamcast controllers are cheap. If any of you guys get a Dreamcast and you want more controllers, they are not expensive. And every player can have his own memory card and his own controller as well. And you guys can save your characters separately, which is pretty cool. So you can actually save by going to character management here, and then you can go to save, like so. And we're going to do port A1, where my other characters are. And actually, you know what? Let's create a new one on a separate one, just so I don't override one of my other characters. We'll just do this one. And actually, speaking of which, I'm going to remove my top memory card. And link it up with one of my spare memory cards here, just so I don't lose it. Yeah, and we'll just use that memory card. Ratchet and Clank. I haven't played too much Ratchet and Clank. I was actually... someone sent me a couple of the Ratchet and Clanks on PS2. And, I need to spend some time with those sometime. And Mika, this is for you. I finally opened up my monster drink. I almost forgot again. So one other major feature about this game is when you use you can just use your turbo by itself to run, but you can also push through enemies. and I actually just leveled up. So you can actually push through enemies like that. So if you get ganged up, you can try to just barge your way through the crowd. And that's a very important function that'll... You'll take advantage of... Well, it depends on the kind of player you are. So some of these things you don't really need to know. But if you're trying to get through the game, say, without continuing, or get as far as you can on as minimal amount of credits as possible, you need to know these things. So you need to know that you can push your way through enemies by using your turbo, you know, your dash. You also need to know where the archers are. You need to know where the bombers are. You need to know that you can use your BFG to cut through walls, use your potions to take out bombers from the other side of a wall. All these things play a part in getting as far as you can without continuing, or with continuing the least amount of times. So in this game, in the arcade version, there were continues. In this one, when you die, you go back to the hub area. There's no, like, game over state, as far as I can tell. But your health will be lowered, I think, when you die and go back to the hub. And so right now, I don't know for sure. We're going to find out. It's been a while since I've gotten a game over in this game. So, like, here's an example. You can see that spawners over there. We're going to go ahead and just use our BFG right now. Bam. Cut through that wall. Oh, look. There's Death. How cute. He's just kind of chilling there. He's not activated. You have to activate Death, and then he'll just chase you around the map like a crazy person. So I'm actually getting hit by this archer on the other side. Hey, Carl Jr. So if you use your melee attacks, or if you kill enemies with a melee attack, you'll actually get more experience points than you will if you kill them without a melee attack. But I don't think it's really worth the extra experience points. I prefer to just kind of take everything out from a distance if I can, just to play it safe. So level 4. So these items right here, you notice there's a skull and crossbones. That is not good. That'll just make me lose health. I picked up a potion that made me big. Yeah, so here's Death. And I'm going to activate him, and in order to take him out right away, you want to use a potion like that. He'll actually suck away experience points from you, and you'll actually downgrade in levels. But here's another, here's a bomb guy up here, so I'm going to throw another potion up, just like that, to take him out. The bombs especially do a lot of damage to you, so... But I'm going to show you a trick with the Death, the Grim Reaper, later on, where you don't actually have to use a bomb to kill him. You can actually shoot him. It's like 50 times or something like that. It's a lot of times, but you can actually get Death pinned on certain, like, certain objects and walls, and then it'll make killing him with just shooting him easy. Hey, Brandon, how's it going, dude? Thanks for stopping in. We're gonna use the BFG. Brandon and I have actually played a lot of Gauntlet Legends together, especially on N64. It would have been cool to have him over here playing this with me. Although I will say, playing it by yourself, it's a lot easier to explain the mechanics when you're playing it by yourself, and kind of try to show people what it's like getting through the game. But yeah, Gauntlet Legends is a great multiplayer game. Great multiplayer game. Yeah, and Taunahara says Dreamcast systems are not very expensive. That's absolutely true. So these guys, ideally you want to take them out from a distance, but if you get up close, you can actually use your level 1 turbo attack on them, and you'll sort of like headbutt them. So one thing I'll do sometimes is I'll get up and I'll use my melee attacks on them and then headbutt them, and that'll kill them much faster, but it's riskier. As you can see, there's hidden walls. Here's the obelisk for this level. I've got these goggles on right now, which lets me see what's inside, you know, like treasure chests and things like that. Looks like my BFG's ready. And that's the exit up there. And let's go ahead and just use the BFG right here. And what's down here? Nothing. And that's that. 2 levels down. There are technically 4 versions, 1 the arcade game, and then 3 console ports, Dreamcast, N64, and PlayStation, PS1. And then the Dark Legacy follow-up in the arcade, which was kind of like, it was like an add-on, basically. It wasn't like a brand new game. It was like Gauntlet Legends 1.5, you could say, where it was kind of like going from Mortal Kombat 3 to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Or NBA Jam to NBA Jam TE, except there was even more content added. So Dark Legacy added way more way more like side hubs, more worlds to go to, things like that. So actually the game might have even doubled in size with Dark Legacy, to be honest with you. So you can actually buy, you know, stat upgrades in the shop as well. So you go to the shop after every level, and you can buy stat upgrades there, which is nice. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll buy, like, potions and things like that, because potions help me survive.
The cliffs of desolation.
So in this game, you can actually shoot the food. Your bullets will just go over them. But you can't shoot the potions. If you shoot the potions, they'll explode. So, not very good. There's quite a few, like, little differences here. So, like, in the arcade version, I'm pretty sure this is a locked door. If you have a key, you can just go right through it. So that's, you know, one of the many differences in this version versus the arcade one. And we basically need to come down here. And this is new as well. This part I don't even think is in the arcade one. So the levels have been altered in the Dreamcast one for sure. Hey, see ya, James. Yeah, you gotta watch out for the kamikazes as well. They do a lot of damage to you. So I want to try to take out all these enemies because death is actually in here in one of those chests. And I want to demonstrate what you can do to death. There's an archer back there and there's a spawner, and I just took them both out. That's where, like, clever use of your turbo meter really comes in handy. And you're not timed in this game either, so if you wanted to, you could just sit and let your turbo meter charge up and just like inch your way through the levels, you know, safely. Hey, Michael. Other Michael. Michael Ayala? 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 I have no idea how to pronounce your last name, Michael. We got Michael M and Michael A. Resident Evil 4 and Xbox One? Oh, nice, Brandon. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is awesome. So yeah, so one thing you could do if you really wanted to is just sit here, like wait for your BFG to charge up, and just use that. Take out the spawners from a distance, like so. Or you can use a potion, but I like saving my potions because they really, really help you. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Here's death. Let me grab this. You can actually get him stuck right here where I am. Notice how I can't walk off the ledge? Neither can he. So I'm going to trigger him from behind. And then let him get stuck. And I'm just going to sit here.
Use magic to kill death.
And it says use magic to kill death. Well, you don't have to, actually. You can actually just shoot him a gazillion times. That way you don't waste your precious potions. Why can't I say precious? What am I using to upscale this game? I'm using a FrameMeister. And I'm just using S-Video from the Dreamcast. Bam, there he goes. And what's cool is you actually get experience points for doing that as well. So it's worthwhile to do that. And when I play this game, I always try to clear the areas first before I tackle other areas. So there's no one else here as far as I can tell. So I'm safe. And my BFG should be charged up. Yeah, there it is. Bam.
Has gained a level.
And this is invincibility. So we're gonna actually come up top here. Now I don't know if this guy is here in this one, but in the arcade, yeah, he's not. That's right. They took him out. There's a big golem here in the arcade version. And so what in the arcade one, what I would do is I would get the invulnerability and then run up here real quick and kill the golem with the invulnerability. Just gonna wait for my BFG to charge up. It's almost there.
Traps make some objects move.
Also, using your melee attack, attacking enemies up close to them, will actually build your turbo meter faster. So that's something else to keep in mind when you're playing this game. So there's a little bit of risk versus reward involved here. Because the BFG is, and your maxed out turbo meter is insanely good in this game. Delta, those HDMI adapters are kind of garbage. And two, they use the VGA output, which means it won't work with every single game you have. and you can try to force the compatibility, and it's a pain in the ass to do. And that doesn't help me with other systems. So I mainly have a FrameMeister because I do tons of streaming and local recording for YouTube. If I didn't do any of that, I probably wouldn't have something like a FrameMeister. I would just use Composite or S-Video and go through an older Elgato Game Capture HD.
Limited invisibility.
The people that have FrameMeisters are usually the ones that do things like recording, and they want their footage to look about as good as possible, or at least a lot better than stock composite. I was really happy when I got a FrameMeister, and, you know, my video quality in my videos just improved significantly. You can go look at my videos from prior to about a year and a half ago, and look at the ones... Well, you can look at any video now to about a year and a half ago, and then look at the ones from before that, and it'll look like night and day. And then you can go back even farther with my original USB capture card, and you'll probably puke your brains out because it looks so ugly. So... Dreamcast is interesting though, because Sega went with VGA instead of basically just RGB or component, and not every game supports the VGA mode, which is a shame. And so trying to get the best picture out of your Dreamcast is trickier than it is with other consoles because of that. Some games will look amazing with VGA. I take the easier route. I take the S-Video route, which lets me use it with every single game, not have to worry about compatibility issues. There are actually RGB cables you can get on the Dreamcast, but they basically are just using the VGA mode, unfortunately, so you still run into compatibility issues. But if you're using the RGB cable, you won't even get an error message if a game's incompatible. We actually ran into that last weekend with Unreal Tournament and the Atari Anniversary. Here we go. We're almost at the end of this level. So let's go ahead and use the BFG. Take up, bam, got both those spawners. So Michael asks, what's the best port of this game? This would be the best port of the game. It kind of wins by default. The N64 one's a lot of fun, though. I really like that version, even though it definitely looks inferior. It's just the way it plays. It plays really fast. I have a lot of fun with the N64 one. And the PS1 version, you could probably guess how that one turned out. Alright. Making progress.
You are now entering the Lost Cave.
I played a metric crap ton of the arcade version, so that's why I'm the most partial to this one. But the N64 one does have more content. And like I said, it's just really fun. I was just really on a... really impressed by how much fun the N64 version was. The N64 version was. I wasn't expecting it when I played it back in the day. You know, especially from having come from the arcade version. So I was, you know, just after graduating high school, it was 2001, I found a local arcade the next town over. You know, that's when I got my driver's license. It was at the end of high school. And so I was finally starting to drive. You know, so I drove to the next town over, and in their mall there was an arcade. And so they had Gauntlet Legends, and you know, I started to hang out at the arcade all the time, and I would play Gauntlet Legends a lot because it was cheap. It was like a quarter. And in the arcade version, your life would tick down like a timer. But that was a operator setting. You could turn that off, and the machine I had access to had that disabled. So that one quarter, even with how difficult the arcade game is, it would still last you a long time compared to a lot of the other games in there. So I started playing that game a lot, and then, you know, after I beat the game for my first time, I realized that it would put your name on the high score leaderboard based on, like, how many times you've beaten the game and what level you're at. And then I just out of nowhere decided that I wanted to get my name up on every single board at the very top. And like a year later, I did. So I've got a lot of experience with the arcade version of Gauntlet Legends, and so which is why I'm very, very partial to the Dreamcast one, because it's the most faithful to the arcade game in terms of, you know, the collectible aspects. You know, they added one extra collectible aspect, but that's it, whereas Dark Legacy just added a crazy amount. And I think some of that was carried over into the N64 one. You know, in the Dreamcast version, you don't have the inventory system, whereas the N64 version, you do. I believe the N64 one, you can stash your special items, just like in Dark Legacy. The N64 Gauntlet Legends is more like a mix between Legends and Dark Legacy. It's not full-on Dark Legacy, but it's much closer in that direction, much more so in that direction. So this is where some of the enemies start shooting projectiles at you. Not just like the archers or the bomb throwers, but just regular enemies. And so from this point on, this is where, you know, the game becomes much more challenging.
Green Archer gained a level.
Well, that's great, Delta. You want to buy one for me? Then I'll use it. Otherwise, I am perfectly fine with my current setup, thank you. And it still doesn't get over the incompatibilities. Because I guarantee you it's using the VGA to do its HDMI conversion. How lost are the lost caves if the announcer knows where it is? That is a good point, Really Press. That is a good point. There we go. Alright, so that's the exit. Let's see if we can explore just a little bit longer. Or a little bit more. There's death.
Your magic
There's another potion. Magic is full. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. I don't think I really have a way of trapping death here. I'm just not going to worry about it. I guess what I will do is trigger him and then just use a potion, because there's another potion right here. And I guess let's just go ahead and exit. I don't think there's like a rune stone here. We already got the obelisk. And let's go ahead and save our character. Yeah, so I also have Dark Legacy on PS2. We'll eventually do a Dark Legacy stream.
volcanic cavern.
See ya, Gerald. Have a good night. Hope you sleep well. Yeah, but I'm glad I picked up Gauntlet Legends on Dreamcast, because that's definitely the one I wanted to do first. Yeah, and I can't get that potion because I'm maxed out. And this Halo would basically let me kill death without him taking experience from me. Just like so. So these red guys, they start shooting fireballs at you.
Lightning shield.
Hey, Larry, how's it going, man? You're talking the Lynx one, right? That's the Gauntlet 3 I'm familiar with, but I've only played it a little bit. Did that come out to any other platforms? It's funny thing is I can just sit here and he can't do anything to me. Hey, Bergier. Well, oh, there's a computer Gauntlet 3, the final quest. Amiga, Atari ST, C64, ZX Spectrum, CPC. It's the home computer one. Okay, Larry, yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. That's interesting. I didn't know that even existed. So the answer would be no. I have not played it. But I'm going to check a YouTube video real quick. Hey, Zach, what's going on, man? Oh, wow, it is isometric. That's insane. I assume you've played it, Larry. If you've played it, how is it? I mean, it actually doesn't look that bad. I'm looking at the Amiga version with the really crappy capture from 5 years ago. No, it's okay. This is related, man. This is cool. I like this. I like discovering games like this. Like, I had no idea this existed. I feel like I should have known that it existed. But it actually looks pretty cool. Honestly, it's kind of like... It's kind of like, you look at Gauntlet Legends, and you look at the original Gauntlet, then you look at Gauntlet 3, and you're like, that's like an in-between. It's like a natural evolution. That's really cool, man. Thanks for pointing that out. So when you got a lot of room against these golems, just run back, snipe them from a distance.
That was an heroic effort. Three rule stones have been found.
All right. Yeah, I'd imagine the Spectrum would have a bit of a problem with that game. I mean, just based on what I saw with the Amiga version. But yeah, no, the game looks really cool. Huh, that's interesting. Why are my projectiles getting stuck? That was odd. Yeah, so you can basically walk over this, it rotates this middle platform. This doesn't even exist in the arcade version. This is something they added. So this game also has a little bit of an auto-aim system. You can actually force your way out of the auto-aim by moving the analog stick into a certain direction. So if your character starts, you know, locking on towards a specific enemy, but you want to go for the spawner right next to the enemy, you can try to force the analog stick over in that direction, and your character will actually shoot in that direction. It's like, I want to save my BFG. You see how these guys are spawning out much faster? That's where your turbo meter really comes in handy. Let's go ahead and BFG it up. Got it. Dandy. Okay, I'll look into that. I haven't heard of that one. So basically that came before Gauntlet, and Gauntlet was inspired by it. That's cool. Yeah, Bergier, you're talking about Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which... Gauntlet Legends and Dark Legacy were both arcade games. And, so Dark Legacy was ported to Xbox, GameCube, PS2. But there was also a console-only follow-up, which I don't think it was it wasn't directly related as far as I'm aware, but it was called Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. That was on Xbox and PS2. Did I get a GameCube release? And that's an interesting one, actually. We'll definitely stream that sometime. I played it a little bit about 5 or 6 years ago, and I enjoyed what I played. I thought it was pretty cool. There we go. Okay, we don't want that. You'll see me going around just shooting random walls as well. Because there's a lot of secrets in this game, and if a wall has a secret in it, it'll blink when you hit it. See, I messed up there. If you don't press attack and turbo at the same time, like if you miss time one, you'll end up using your turbo by accident before both buttons register together. So what happened is I accidentally used a little bit of my turbo before using the special. And so I ended up using my level 2 turbo attack instead of my level 3, which is my BFG. So I was trying to take out that archer from a distance, as well as the spawner. Atari ended up suing them. Oh, jeez. I did it again. I totally just did it again. Used my level 2 instead of my level 3. I'm gonna go ahead and use a potion. Oops. Failed. So the idea with throwing potions is that you can throw them over enemies into, say, like a group. That way, instead of just using the potion where you are, where it just, like, bursts out of you, you can toss it into a crowd and, you know, basically have a better effect. Better damage effect. Alright, so what I wanted to do is actually kill Death here. Oops. But I wanted to kill the enemies around there first before I did that. So you just let him sit here like this. Hey, Dudley Gaming, how's it going? Yeah, me too. It's a shame that Midway is no more, basically. Alright, here we go. And I think this might take us to a bonus level. It does, yeah. So this is something you can get to every now and then.
Grab gold before time runs out.
So the idea is just to pick up all the coins. And these are worth gold. So you can use them for upgrades. Notice how it says you're just picking up gold. Notice how they got Midway logos on them too. It's just like well yeah, they got Midway logos on them.
Time is running out.
Atari Games made the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game, and Midway, or I should say more specifically Williams, had acquired Atari Games, and they basically ended up just merging with Midway.
The volcanic cavern.
So that's why they've got Midway emblems on them, even though the original arcade game wasn't done by Midway. NES Gauntlet? I thought that just goes on forever. Does it actually end? So Gauntlet 1 on NES actually ends. Well, that would be interesting to try. I don't think I'll get very far, but I mean I could try it. Alright, so what I like to do is if I have the money, I like to basically upgrade my stats instead of buying items. And then if I have just a little bit of money left over, I'll, you know, get some keys or potions or something. I'm not sure about the first Gauntlet on NES. I thought one of them could use the Force score. Maybe not. I don't know. Alright, so this is the boss fight. The bosses in this game require knowledge. If you don't know what to do on these bosses, you will get absolutely annihilated. So this guy basically does these fireball attacks. You want to just shoot him a couple times, then move, shoot him and move. And then occasionally he's got this wind attack or this stomp attack, just like so. He's got a fire attack if you get too close. So I like to stay back from a distance, like so. When he does the stomp attack, just get behind one of those rocks. Same with the wing attack. He'll eventually do a spread shot, just like that. So you've got to watch out for that two-shot spread.
Has gained 11.
Ow, come on. The boss doesn't have a set pattern, Vergier. His attacks basically come out at random. Sometimes he'll do the same attack twice in a row. Sometimes he won't. It's just about you watching out for the attack he does and then reacting. And you'll notice the attacks are getting faster now too. See, like, I didn't watch out for that spread. When he does the two-way spread shot, you have to get in the, you have to stand between them, or like in the middle of them. And it's hard to read. It's very hard to read. It's very typical Atari games and Midway. Pure reaction. Pretty much no cues for the most part. Or very few visual cues. Like when he does that spread shot, there's no visual cue telling you that he's gonna do it. So you have to just watch out for it. Like he doesn't wind up his head in a different way or make a sound or something. If you understand what I mean. Now, like the wind attack, that's easy to tell because he actually winds up with his wings. So you can tell what he's gonna do. But with his fireballs, you can't really tell. And here we go. We just defeated him. So in the arcade one, you can actually bust open those blocks. Oh, look, you can in this one too. And, you know, there's a spread shot there. I think in the arcade one, there's even some items up front, right in front of him. Either that or maybe I'm thinking of Dark Legacy. I don't remember. Drilly Press has gotten out of his bed. Drilly Press has made breakfast. Drilly Press has driven to work. That'd be great. I'd love to have an announcer like that, you know, announcing my life. I would feel so much better. Hey, Larry G, how's it going? Oh man, yeah, so many games from back then had either really bad English or awful speech impediments. Well, it's not that crazy, Bergier. I mean, this was mid to late 90s. Our arcades were still a thing back then. How come I cannot talk to you?
Don't waste magic.
Yeah, no thanks. I wouldn't have wasted it if I could talk to you. It's not letting me talk to him like it's supposed to. There you go. Jeez. Poison fields. Oh yeah, that's right. So this first level we're gonna go to in this next hub area is gonna have both an obelisk and a runestone. So this is actually one of the few levels in this game that's actually also from Dark Legacy, which again was the follow-up in the arcade. You can kind of tell that this was probably intended to kind of be like the N64 one, where they added in more Dark Legacy levels, but just didn't get around to it. But this is one of those levels that is in Dark Legacy, and actually, it's if you get Dark Legacy on like PlayStation 2 or Xbox or something like that, this is actually the first level in the game, if I recall correctly. You actually start off at a, you know, a different hub in Dark Legacy than you do in Gauntlet Legends. Yeah, Larry G, that would be really cool if they did that and enabled online play. I could see that doing, you know, well enough. A lot of people like to play these games still, and being able to play them online or something like that would be really cool. Oops, said I need to use that key. Gonna go ahead and use a potion. Yep. We're not playing Dark Legacy, Larry. This is Gauntlet Legends. And it's Dreamcast. Yeah, so this only has a couple of levels from Dark Legacy. Alright, I think... want to say the obelisk is somewhere around here. Wait, no, I think I'm thinking of a different area. It's okay, man. Yeah, so I mean, Gauntlet Legends was an arcade game, and Dark Legacy was the follow-up in the arcade. It was basically Gauntlet Legends with a lot more levels, and some of the existing levels were reworked, I believe. And basically ports of that were on Xbox, GameCube, PS2. Now, the home ports of Gauntlet Legends sometimes had Dark Legacy elements. So, like, the N64 one in particular had multiple hubs from Dark Legacy that aren't in the Dreamcast version of Gauntlet Legends. So, Gauntlet Legends Dreamcast is more faithful to the original Gauntlet Legends arcade game, whereas some of the other Gauntlet Legends ports are more of a hybrid between Legends and Dark Legacy. And then you just had literal Gauntlet Dark Legacy versions on PS2, Xbox, GameCube. It gets kind of confusing, but I think it's kind of interesting. Really? They did Japanese musicians for Gauntlet 4? Well, that makes me want to check it out even more then. Yeah, someone was mentioning the Mega Drive Gauntlet 4, and I haven't I think I fired it up just very briefly a while ago, but I didn't play it for very long, so... That's when I'll have to fire up on stream and give a try sometime. Spend some real time with it. Oh, nice. Tim Fallen. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. Man. Is Gauntlet 3 on the computers rare? I have a 520 ST, so if it's not too uncommon, I can try to check it out. To eBay we go. Actually, some games are not cheap on like the Atari ST. Yeah, they don't even have... It was Atari ST, right? Wikipedia said... let's go back to Wikipedia. Yeah, Atari ST. Not a single copy is on eBay of Gauntlet 3 for Atari ST. That would be the only way I could play it. But there's a port of the original Gauntlet. I could buy that sometime. I want to build my ST collection, but I actually have to go out and buy the games because, like, I can't just make copies. I have a decent little collection of ST games, actually. I bought a lot last year, but there's still a lot of games I'd like to pick up. Especially some, like, higher tier games. Like Prince of Persia, that Gauntlet 3 looks good. Stuff like that. Alright, so what am I missing here? I'm obviously missing something. Okay, I need to go back around. I might actually have to go back up that elevator because I'm missing something. I'm missing a switch. Actually, is this switch one of the hidden ones? It might be. I know one of these has a switch. Yeah, it's right here. I'm a dummy. Get Medieval on PC? I heard of it, but I never actually played it. Alright, let's go back. So we can come down here. No, Drilly, they're talking about a different medieval. Yeah, it was a computer game called Get Medieval. Unrelated to the PS1 medieval. There we go.
Rune stones have been found.
Now I want to say the obelisk is later on in the level.
Rune Archer has gained a level.
You can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's just taking enemies out from a distance with your, you know, your level 3 turbo attack. It's one of the keys to surviving in this game on, you know, just like 1 credit. Alright, we're just gonna bait these guys. I feel like I need to play the PS1 medieval games. I've only played a little bit of the PSP versions, which from what I understand are different games, and I've heard they're not like quite as good. If anyone has comments on that, let me know. I'm kind of curious how that series is, especially on PS1. Didn't appeal to Miku, but Gary, Deli Gaming, and Drilly Press say pretty solid, fun games. Okay. So I want to say the obelisk is it back there behind the gate? Or is it in plain sight? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Alright, hold on a second, guys. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, I just looked up a video seeing where the obelisk was, but the one video I clicked on didn't show it, so I don't know. I don't remember getting it, but he said it was here, so... But I don't really feel like backtracking to the beginning. Oops. I clicked exit by accident. Yeah, like... Yes, we totally missed the obelisk in that level. I don't remember what the obelisks were for specifically. I know the runestones were to open up the portal for, you know, the final areas. But the obelisks, I don't remember. I'm sure it's explained, like, earlier in the game or in the manual. I'm kind of curious, actually. I have the manual right here. Let me look at it. I just realized the other day that the Gauntlet Legends I bought has the front page completely torn off the manual. I was so disappointed when I realized that. I would have bought it just a different version had I known that before buying it. Color manual though, it's nice. Obelisk. Each world contains obelisks, which must be found to gain access to the next world. Search high and low for these. They're well hidden and must be found in order to defeat the vile scorn. That's all it says. It sounds like you need them just to beat the final boss, I guess. I have no idea. It's confusing. Trying to get my manual back in. This is the front page is completely ripped off. It's hard to slide it back in. All right.
BFG.
Oh, come on.
Green Archer has gained a level. Green Archer has gained a level. I've not seen such bravery.
Yeah, the thing is, Bergier, like, the obelisks are usually like this, where they're obvious. They're, like, right in front of you. So, like, either I got the one on the previous level and I just don't remember, which is entirely possible because my short-term memory sucks now, or I just missed it. I probably just walked right past it. But yeah, they're not usually very well hidden. The runestones, on the other hand, can be trickier to find. I'm doing a terrible job of avoiding these archers. Video game fan freak, hello. Yeah, this is Gauntlet Legends. And we're playing the Sega Dreamcast port of it. It was originally an arcade game in the late 90s. Also came out on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation.
Is now a level 20 scout.
I don't remember. I want to say level 25 is when you get a familiar following you. So you'll get an extra projectile permanently, which is nice. So what I'm doing is I'm shooting into the distance, and while it's looking like I'm just shooting at nothing, your projectiles actually go way off screen, and they'll attack enemies that are far off screen. So that's why I use my BFG attack. Even when I don't see enemies, I kind of have an idea where enemies are, and I will point the BFG in that direction, and it'll take out a couple of spawners, typically. You can hear, like, the sound cues as well. Like, enemies are dying even though I don't see them. There's no sound cue for destroying spawners, though. I'm gonna go ahead and attack Death. See if I can trap him there. Where is he? I want to say I'm hitting Death, because my bullets aren't making any sounds when they're like hitting something. Even though you can't see Death, I think it's actually he's absorbing the projectiles. Yep, got it. Awesome. That's a funny place for an enemy to get stuck. He was behind the wall. Nice, Taunaharis. So I want to wait for my BFG to charge up, and I'm just going to take out this whole room in one shot. Just like so. Perfect.
Is now Pojo.
So here's Pojo, the chicken. His projectile is a little bit more powerful, and if you use your turbo attack up close, it'll be a flame attack, like that. This is temporary, like any other power-up in the game.
Pojo has gained a level.
Now, I don't know if there's a runestone here. We got the obelisk, but... So we're just gonna press on. I didn't see a runestone. I think in the arcade one there is a runestone on that level. Because you don't play the Poison Fields in the arcade version of Gauntlet Legends. Well, there you go, Drilly. You finally got it. You were able to witness it. It'll last for a little bit longer, but it's not going to last too much longer.
You are now entering the Tower Armory.
I want to say it's possible the runestone might be down here. You can't see it. but that'll eventually rise up. Oops. Oh, I didn't even use double bow. Crap. Later, video game fan freak. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, so I know this game probably isn't the most entertaining to watch. It's a lot of repetition. But if any of you guys have any questions or anything about it, just let me know and I can answer them. For the folks maybe just stopping in. Oh, this power-up actually lets you walk over floor traps, so like these razors won't hurt me now. I am actually missing something. I didn't mean to come here yet, but that's okay. Three-way shot. Always a welcome addition to my arsenal. Cool, Drilly. Well, I'm glad you're digging it.
Green Archer has gained a level.
Okay, so it's not level 25. I think we're at level 25 now. Maybe it's level 30? So after a certain amount of levels, you get a familiar that hovers over you. I mean, for all I know, it could be level 50. But I thought it was a little bit lower, like 25 or 30. We're just gonna cheese death. Okay, so that's the exit. I don't want to be here yet. Because I am pretty sure there's a runestone here. So we're gonna have to work our way back down.
The Thunder Hammer.
The Thunder Hammer. So this is a really good weapon, but it only has like 3 uses, I think.
Grab gold before time runs out.
So another bonus stage.
Time is running out.
Nice, we got a perfect.
You are now entering the Tower Armory.
So that's going to give us some good money for stat upgrades when we come out of this level. Yep, there we go. That's gonna be the runestone. Let's see. Yep, no, yeah, there's a switch. It's gonna raise the other one, which is gonna give us the runestone. Awesome. Nice.
Runestones have been found.
Alright, back to the exit. Oops, no, I'm gonna go back down. Wrong way. Wrong way. Alright, good deal. Hey, see ya, Smithereens. Take care.
castle treasury. Green Archer has shrunk enemies.
Use a BFG shot here. There we go. Cool, Mario. Hope you're enjoying yourself playing your PS2. Oops. Oh, nice. That's an awesome game, man. That's basically like a port of Tokyo Extreme Racer 2 from Dreamcast, which is an awesome game.
Green Archer has gained a level.
Oh, we're only at level 24. We're not at level 25 yet. The text is so blurry on my LCD panel that it's hard to read. And I thought it said we were already at 25, but we just hit level 24. So maybe we will get the familiar at 25. It's either 25 or 30, I think. A vector nuke? I have... probably not, I would say. But I'm gonna pick up the first Tokyo Extreme Racer and Dreamcast. And we're gonna play that on stream sometime. We're gonna do a dedicated YouTube stream of that. That'll be fun. Speaking of racing, I also need to do a dedicated stream of Top Gear for Super Nintendo.
Double bow.
No, I didn't mean to use a double bow. Man. I thought I flipped the correct switch. Yeah, so what's probably going to end up happening, guys, is I'm probably going to end the stream after this level. I'm going to take a break. I was actually streaming on Twitch before this, but I'm going to take a break. I'm going to run to the grocery store, and then I'm going to start a new stream on Twitch. There's some things I want to try to practice tonight, and so I'm going to spend my time doing that. And what I wanted to do is get a vote from you guys. Do you want to see me continue this sometime? Maybe not immediately, but I can revisit Gauntlet Legends and we can continue this character later on. Let me know what you guys think about that. And it won't let me back up. That's weird. So Gary wants to see a continuation later on. Okay, that's one vote. I mean, I'm probably going to end up doing it anyway. I just like to get a feeler for these sorts of things. And try to figure out if I want to do it like 2 weeks back to back, or maybe continue it on a Tuesday morning stream, and then people can watch the archive. Or maybe wait a couple weeks and then just do another Thursday stream with Gauntlet Legends again. Okay. So everyone so far wants to see this continued. Cool, cool. End game will be interesting, to say the least. The last few areas are a major pain, to put it lightly. Am I going the right way? Okay, cool. Hey, Michael. And Victor. Oh, there will be more chickens. Absolutely, Drilly. Drilly's like, I don't even need you to see you play the game. I just need to see the chicken. So maybe what I'll do, Drilly, is just do like a chicken compilation and post it to YouTube. Yeah, it is good, Victor. It's a lot like the arcade game. All chicken run. You know, I have to see if there's a cheat. Because that would be really funny if you could do just permanently play as the chicken.
Limited invulnerability. Runestones have been found.
Alright, so we should be towards the end of the level. We just found the runestone. Yeah, so like I said, after this level, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. And probably around midnight Eastern Standard Time, I will fire up another stream on Twitch. I'm going to be doing some PlayStation Portable stuff, and then I could, depending on how I feel, I could switch over to something else later on, but I definitely want to practice a couple games on PSP. Alright, the question is, where do I go? This is where the levels start to become a little more confusing. Yeah, I agree, Dudley Gaming. Dungeons & Dragons Heroes. Yeah, I remember people raving about that one when it came out. I recall only playing it very briefly, so I'll have to, I don't think I own it, but if I don't own it, I'll have to pick it up. You know, I'm still trying to flesh out my OG Xbox collection. I've got quite a decent library, but there's still several games I want to pick up. That's one of them. Hey, Leo, how's it going? Yeah, the Legends and Dark Legacy games, they play quite different from the classic Gauntlet. You know, they were like retro revivals of their era. So they definitely feel different than classic Gauntlet. Yeah, it's definitely worth a playthrough, especially with friends. Remember, this goes up to 4 players. I think pretty much all the home ports were 4 players. Actually, maybe the PS1 version was only 2-player. But N64, Dreamcast, Xbox, GameCube, PS2, they were all 4-player. Hey, hey, obelisk, that's good. Yeah, totally deadly, I agree. So I'm confused. Oh, bonus level, okay. I thought it was like a secret exit. I wonder if it's going to take us straight to the bonus level.
You are now entering.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't want to play another level. Yeah, this is another one of the Dark Legacy stages. Let's see if we can quit the level. It might let us, actually. So yeah, that's one of those levels that was in Dark Legacy Arcade, and it's one of the normal levels in Dark Legacy for consoles. Yeah, it actually put us forward a level. Okay. Awesome. Alright, so that's pretty much going to do it for us, guys. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. For those of you guys that follow me on Twitch, I'll be starting up a stream there in about a half an hour, around midnight Eastern Time. And like I said, I'm going to play some PlayStation Portable, specifically the Dracula X Chronicles. I want to try to get the true final boss on that, which I didn't do in my Let's Play last year. So we're going to start off with that, and then we're going to go to other games afterwards. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We had a pretty good turnout, actually, the whole stream, which was awesome. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed relaxing into some Gauntlet Legends. I think it's a great game. I have a soft spot for it because I play the arcade version a ton. I basically became a master of the arcade version with how much I played it. Yeah, so it's a personal favorite of mine in the arcade as a result, and so I like going back to these console versions of it. So yeah, this is gonna be a shorter stream. I mean, not all my streams have to be 5 or 6 hours long. So I'm gonna go to the grocery store, pick up some beer, which the cutoff is within a half hour, so I have to get out of here to do that. And then I'm gonna fire up the stream on Twitch. So yeah, we'll continue this some other time. Probably not next week, but what I'll do is I'll try to bring it back in the next few weeks. So maybe the week after or the week after that, we'll continue this. Yeah, we'll continue it. So Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, I could see myself playing Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, but specifically I want to do the Dracula X Chronicles. So, but we're gonna start off with that and then just kind of bounce around from there, and depending on what happens, I just might end up doing other stuff too. So, but so yeah, guys, if you are just tuning in, the archive will be up later tonight, most likely, probably in the next 5 or 6 hours. Actually, maybe sooner than that, because this was shorter than usual. Well, not shorter than usual. It's usually these are 3.5 to 4 hours long. This one was 2.5 hours long, so it might not take us long to process. So, but with that, I'm gonna go ahead and flash by the old Patreon backers again, as I always do at the end of these streams. So thank you guys there for your support, and thank you everyone that just hung out tonight. You know, it's always great being on the show off, one of my personal favorites. And we're gonna flash by those super chatters as well, those recent super chatters. So thank you folks for your patronage. And for those of you guys that don't have my Twitch link, I will, I'll post it in the chat. And I will be over there in probably about a half an hour, so. But that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you once again for hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed the Dreamcast love over the last couple of weeks. We might not be doing any more Dreamcast games for a little while. But I do want to do Tokyo Extreme Racer once I acquire that again. And I have Record of Lodoss War, which would be fun to show off as well. And I think I've got a couple of other games I might want to try, but Miku, I'll be back by I'll be back live on Twitch in 30 minutes. The store is like 5 minutes away, so yeah, it won't take me long to go. But with that, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks once again. Have a good night if I don't see you on Twitch, and new Let's Play will be posted on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you soon.